talk about that, by the way.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
We're all on.
The microphones are on, yeah.
The microphones are hot.
Yes, they are.
Just like the panel.
Oh. Did you wear your underwear?
Always.
I would hope
He was like, yeah, wear the Wonder Woman underwear. I'm like, you don't want to smell those today. It was very hot up on stage last
I
night.
was kind of hoping we would see them. They were awesome.
So wait, you're sitting next to him and you were really hoping he was going to wear it?
Yeah, man. The underwear were amazing.
So welcome everyone to the future of comic book movies.
Wait, are we the future of comic book movies?
We are the future. We're the new Avengers.
Yes.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You guys can decide who gets to be Black Widow.
Me. Awful.
So I'm pretty sure everyone knows most of the individuals on the panel up here. I don't think I have to go through the introduction phase, but that's Greg Miller, known for his Wonder Woman underwear.
Hi. Batman v Superman's a good movie. Spider-Man Homecoming is the best superhero movie. Don't at me.
I mean, half of what you said is correct.
Next to him is Rob Jefferson from Comics Explained. Next to him is Patrick, representing all of Rooster Teeth.
All of them.
All of Rooster Teeth. Every
Living
statement he
embodiment.
makes it represents the entirety of Rooster Teeth.
Might as well just treat him as Bernie and Matt put together.
And counter to that, we have Ben representing all of Screw Attack.
Sure. And then who are you?
I'm Benny. I'm known for the Comic Storian. Woo! So today we're going to discuss the inevitable decline of superhero movies.
Impossible.
Inevitable. But before we get to that, there's two really hot topics we need to discuss. We want to have all of us discussing how bad and the problems with Batman v Superman.
Dude, no.
Are there problems? Of course there are problems. Does that make it a bad movie? No, sir, it does not. It had been better than the last 2 years of Superman solo books, not counting American Alien, of course.
Oh, dude, I love American Alien.
You're comparing it to the New 52 Superman?
Yeah, because it was bad.
But why would you?
I got this metal suit. Look at me. My parents are dead.
I don't think that would require a whole lot of effort, though.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it was great.
I mean, that's the only Superman to die as a ball of sand.
No, I don't get it. Like, please explain to me why it's a good movie. Why you enjoy it.
No, my thing is, I think it's that the hyperbole about how bad it was got out of control that makes me more than anything prickle and have to get out with a sign at Kind of Funny Live 2. Is the fact that people, when someone will look me straight in the fucking face and say it was worse than Batman and Robin, get the fuck out of here.
Nothing is worse than Bat credit card and Bat nipples. The Bat nipples and Bat credit card take the cake.
I know, right? Never leave the cave without it. All right, you can get the hell out of here.
It was worse than Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah. And that's when it was like, well, somebody's got to stand up for the voiceless. And if it's got to be
I mean,
me,
I think the problem with Batman v Superman in general, it's not a horrendous movie. I did walk out of it going, okay, that was bad, that was bad.
Sure.
You know, but I really liked the fight, really liked the whole Martha thing. That was genius. I'd never thought of that ever. You know. I love the portrayal of the troll monster from Lord of the Rings coming in. He was great. But overall, I think it was a bandwagoning thing. In general, they're like, oh, this is a problem, and everyone jumped on board with that.
Well, it had like the bad things about like the later Transformers movies, and then the Spider-Man 3 syndrome, and then just too much in a movie, and then too long of a movie. It just crunched into this.
Well, see
one
now,
thing.
as a comic book fan, I thought it wasn't long enough, and I would like to have seen it go.
Well, what did you think of the
I
extended
enjoy comic
version?
books, but
Extended version, I was fine with. The people who are like that's the weird thing. You want to talk about, like, again, like a well being poisoned or a bandwagon thing. When somebody will be like, well, yeah, well, your shirt's funny, but it should say the extended version. I'm like, motherfucker, the little bit more of Jimmy Olsen and the blood and the burning bodies really didn't change the entire fucking picture. You know
I actually like the extended version.
No,
it linked it together so much better.
I like it too. I just don't think it was like, oh, this makes it so much better kind of thing. I liked it more.
I had that moment. I was like, it literally, I made a whole video about it is so much better.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Because it linked everything, like, together properly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I definitely like the Arkham bit at the end. I mean, when they had more Lex explaining more of what was going to go on to Batman and stuff, that was cool.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. I don't know, like, You know, a lot of people tell me that this is going to be like my Superman Returns, because with Superman Returns, I was still a general assignment newspaper reporter, and they let me off the leash to go review Superman Returns, and I totally had convinced myself on the ride home that it was good. And it wasn't until years later when I'm watching the DVD and I'm like this, that, and I was like putting all these things out to my ex-girlfriend or girlfriend at the time, ex-girlfriend now, putting all these different things out, and then I was like in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, and look at how Kate Bosworth's about to deliver this line. Oh my god, I hate this movie. And I'm like, oh my god, I've watched this.
You couldn't get behind Super Baby?
Man. Dude, the piano scene
that was a thing in that movie.
That was the thing. He had a super baby that they never even like. They're like, it's maybe. It possibly just has strength.
It is.
You have no evidence.
Who was the fake father in that? There was some other dad.
James Marsden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he never noticed that he had a super baby the entire time.
Well, that was the whole thing with that too, or that was like one of the cardinal sins of that movie, is the fact that I kept waiting. I'm like, they're gonna set it up that he's gonna be Metallo. He's going to turn out to be a dick. James, and then it turns out at the end, no, James Marsden, just a really nice guy who Lois Lane didn't really love, and just like put up with his son. I'm like, holy fuck, this is like heartbreaking. Thank you, Bryan Singer. But back to Batman v Superman. I mean, Batman v Superman, I thought was just the problem with Batman v Superman. I think overall is that it is just a comic book movie. You throw it away as a comic book movie. These two people get together and punch each other, and then it's that. There's all these gaping hole flaws of like when he walks into, no, Bruce, don't, and then he starts getting shot in the face, and he's like, no, but just say they have my mother, and we cut out the entire fight. But instead he walks up and he's like, poof, and then all right, we're off to the races and stuff. Yeah. It could have been so much more, and that's why I think people understandably hate it so much, is that movie should have been fucking awesome. Everyone should have come out there ready to go, and we got instead more Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that was my whole argument with it. I mean, it's not really that I thought it was terrible so much as I was kind of disappointed, because Batman and Superman are like the 1-2 punch of comics.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like if any movie is going to be like the standout, oh my god, this just like blew the socks off the entire industry, it should have been Batman versus Superman.
And it was just set up to fail in the way that I think that DC didn't, and I think still doesn't have a great idea for what their cinematic universe is. I thought Man of Steel was a movie that I walked out of, and it was E3 that year. I went to an early screening that somebody snuck me into in LA, and I came back, and the next day Rich George, who used to run IGN Comics, sat down next to me. He's like, so how was it? And I'm like, it was good. And he's like, oh fuck, it's terrible. and it was another one where that did the opposite. The more I watched it after the fact, the more I appreciated it. But I went in, like, you remember the Man of Steel trailers, right?
Yeah.
And we were all like, oh my god, someone has got this. They know what they're doing. This is going to be, and you left that movie like, it was like science fiction. It wasn't even like, it wasn't a comic book thing. It wasn't this.
It was weird because they based him on the New 52 Superman, going back to how bad he was.
Yeah.
It was like that, I can't stand humanity, and I don't have Lois, and I don't know what I'm doing. And that was the Superman of Man of Steel, which just made me hate the New 52 Superman even more, until they finally turned him into Superman and then killed him.
Yes! Thank God! Thank you, Rebirth. Oh, Jesus.
That man's a dick.
Yeah, I was actually in the middle of the thing I think I'm most well known for with Screw Attack is working on a death battle between Goku and Superman. But I was in the middle of working on that episode when Man of Steel was in production. And before working on Goku vs. Superman, I thought Superman was okay as a character, but I didn't really get him. Like, I thought the same thing a lot of other people do. Like, he's kind of boring, he's invincible, nothing really can happen to him, so why bother reading him when Batman's right there? But as I was doing all the research and going through all the comics, reading like All-Star Superman, things like that, I figured it out. I figured out what made Superman like really interesting to so many people, and it really kind of, for me, he became a character that became almost like inspiring, which is crazy for like a fictional character to be like, oh yeah, I kind of, like, if I weren't religious, this would be my Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. It's weird, but that's what Superman is. And then these trailers started coming out. And it literally matched up one for one with exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh, they get it too. Everybody's going to finally get it. Because the Christopher Reeve movies were great, but it wasn't like, it was more just like cheesy fun. Like, let's have a good time with this.
It was so pre-crisis Superman.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get me wrong, I love the Chris Reeves movie, or Reeve movie. But the problem is the fact that it was based on pre-crisis Superman. So literally he ruined Superman for multiple generations in terms of, why would I like this guy? He can just rewind time. And it's like, no, you can't do that. Oh man, the animated series Superman could technically be killed by conventional weapons if you had enough of them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I was so excited for this movie to come out and basically show everybody this is why Superman is interesting and what it means. And
They didn't do that.
fucked up so bad.
And see, so here, I think I'm the flip side of that, right? And the fact that you nailed why I like Superman, right? In the fact that, you know, he's been with me. I've been raised on Superman from the start, right? And there's been a lot of shitty Superman renditions of comic books and stories and TV shows and whatever else you want to call it out. But when it's good, it's great. You know what I mean?
I
And when
think
they
it's
nail
really
it,
easy
that.
to write a really bad Superman story, but when it's good, it's better than everything
And that's why I
else.
always try to, when people ask me why I like him and he's so boring in this, I'm like, it's not that. It's like, it is this inspiration. And it is this thing, you know, I talk about all the time, and the fact that, like, when I stop myself and do something and I help somebody or whatever, it isn't what would Jesus do, it is what would Superman do. Because it is this guy who has unlimited power and can do anything he wants with it, and all he wants to do is live a normal life and take care of people. And it's that thing of, it is inspiration. And for me, I go back to this all the time too. Another hot take for you: the best live action interpretation of Superman was Smallville, and this is for me.
I agree.
No, I like Smallville.
Minus a couple seasons.
I was gonna say, and I was gonna go right back to it.
And the
Don't
costume.
get me wrong, there's a lot of garbage Smallville. I mean, probably the majority is, but. I mean,
very
like, in terms
indicative
of
of Superman,
episodes,
though.
individual episodes, you know, Freak of the Week and all this jazz. But it was this thing of, like, that is my Superman. And, hey, I'm not a Kryptonian on Earth. I'm not American. I don't mean like that. I'm a human being that has this thing I don't know about. But it's like, there's this, like, one Lois and Clark episode, right? Where it was like a season finale where Justine Bateman came with New Krypton. You remember this? And like Lois already knew Superman was Superman. That was all. They were in love and all this different stuff. And literally, like, Justine Bateman and the other Kryptonians show up, and Dean Cain's like, "Oh yeah, well, I gotta go with them." And I was like, "What the fuck? No, you don't. Like, you don't know these people. You don't owe them." And like, Smallville was so good at walking that line of him being like, "No, the Kents. I am Clark Kent. I'm not Kal-El," and there being that difference. And that was the balance, and that is what, of course, the cinematic universe totally fucks up. And what I liked about Batman v Superman was giving us, I thought, genuinely good Clark and Lois moments, which Man of Steel didn't have. That was like making out in the ashes. You're like, why are you doing this? But like him coming home with the food and talking to her, and then
Wait, you didn't question when he jumped in the tub, though?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I would, if Amy Adams is naked in a bathtub and I'm cut like Henry Cavill. Yeah, I'm like,
We're going
baguette
in on
I
this.
just brought into the bathroom. It's weird he brought the groceries into the bathroom. But, you know, I mean, like, no.
That's what their mini fridge is. They keep it in the bathroom. It's all a perfect setup.
Yeah, but and there was good stuff on that level, but it just never got past the fact that he is an alien in our world and he feels that, and I hate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's Superman's supposed to be hopeful. Like, he's not supposed to be angsty. It's not supposed to be like, oh man, Superman's like every like 15-year-old boy ever, where he's just like, man, I'm so misunderstood by the world. Like, that's not. Nobody wants to read that Superman. They want to read the Superman who's like, man, I've seen some stuff.
This is my symbol of hope. Let me fucking be hopeful.
PTSD Superman? Oh,
Not
man.
an S, it's a symbol of hope or whatever.
Well, then, okay.
Fucking S.
Not really PTSD
Come on.
Superman, but like Superman who's just like, man, I've got it together. Like,
Sure.
Like, I dare somebody to come here because like they're gonna get wrecked. Like, I mean, that's the Superman people want to see. Like raising a son, and it's like, well, you gotta do the right thing even if nobody's watching.
Yeah.
And that's the Superman people want. You know?
Like I loved like the what was it, Justice League Unlimited.
Oh yeah.
When he got what was it? He got the star or that being put on his chest, and like he had the whole dream and stuff like
gift
that.
for the man that has everything.
I love that,
Yes.
and it was just like, oh no, and it was so like heartbreaking to see like being torn away.
And
I love that Superman.
And it's just, and I feel like, you know, again, this all goes back to, so anyways, why I think I can separate from the fact that I don't like this. It's not that I don't like that version of Superman. It's not the Superman I wish they put on screen. It's not what it was, blah, 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 blah. I think Henry Cavill's good. I like him for what he has to do and everything else. For me, it's the fact of, I was able to compartmentalize this, and the fact that it's been 34 years of consuming Superman content, and this is just like any Elseworlds run or New 52, where it's like, I'm not all in on this, but I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. And I think that as somebody who is inundated and surrounded with Superman stuff all the time, I can do that maybe more easy than other people can. I don't know. And that's a shitty thing. Every time we have this argument with other people, I'm always like, I hate to say this because I hate it when people use this argument. Anything.
but I'm better than you.
No. But I'm always like, but as the comic book fan, you know what I mean? Like I don't get me wrong. If somebody's like unlimited budget, here I'll be like, make American Alien. Make American Alien into the Superman movie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just go do that.
Yes, I want to see Clark Kent partying on a yacht, pretending to be Bruce Wayne.
How great was that?
I want to see Deathstroke show up and try to kill him, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like he tries to stab him with a sword.
Yeah. Like, can I fly to space? And he flies to space and starts getting deprived of oxygen. Like, this is great.
Well, okay. So you like the new? You didn't like Man of Steel, but you're.
I came around, and in the end, when my expectations were so low after the first viewing, and I came back and watched it, I was like, oh. this is still when I had hope that they did have a plan. Where I was like, oh no, they were building up to this, and this is after.
That's what I was hoping for.
You saw the BVS trailer, and you're like, oh, it's very Ground Zero-y. Maybe it will be that like there is this undercurrent, and Batman has a reason not to trust him, and and it was like. It was kind of there, but you're grasping. It wasn't fleshed out the way it should have been.
Because I mean, I look at in general, the comic book movie industry as a whole, same way you do, is like it's an Elseworlds. People who like to go into movies like Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and stuff, and they're like, well, it doesn't match up the comic book. I'm like, it's not going to. We're never going to get that carbon copy version. It just won't happen.
Well, but even if you could, why would you want to?
That's the thing. It's
like
like
long enough. I don't want to see what I've already seen.
Yeah, exactly. I already saw the story. Don't redo that. So I love that here's a different universe.
Yeah.
Still inspired, still following the same kind of guidelines to it, but totally different.
See, and that's where I think DC shoots himself in the foot, is the fact that I think they listen to mainstream enough of Superman's boring. He's just a Boy Scout. But when they're like, all right, cool, you guys love the Nolan movies. What would a dark version of that, you know what I mean? Like trying to balance that.
What if we blow up Metropolis?
and it was to to their credit too. I mean, there was no way for them to come out and just make the DC universe, I think, because it would have been, you're just copying Marvel. We already have the Marvel movies. Why would we want it to be all happy and bright and do this? I would have been like, well, after 3 movies, they won't care. It'll be over. We'll be doing it, but they didn't agree with me.
Well, they kind of did. Wonder Woman was a much brighter outlook on things.
Yeah, how do you think Wonder Woman's going to change it moving forward?
I mean,
for DC.
I don't know.
I mean, my big thing is like I think DC is quietly burning everything to the ground and not telling us.
They don't really know what they're doing.
When it's the cyborg actor, I forget his name, right at the like Denver City Comic Con, be like, oh no, we're still making the movie, and everybody's like, you know, are you? Is there going to still be a cyborg solo movie? No, there's not going to be a cyborg solo.
Yeah, he's gonna be like the security guard for the Justice League Watchtower.
That's all he ever is. That was the most disappointing thing ever. We're going to put Cyborg on the Justice League because we need a guy to watch the cameras. That's exactly what he was.
Why though? Like, just give me Hal Jordan or like Hal Rayner, like a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Like, put him on the team. I don't want to see.
You have 4 Green Lanterns. 1 can watch the monitors.
No, but I mean that is a really good point. I mean, with the idea of Wonder Woman, I feel like Wonder Woman injected something that DC needed. Because up until Wonder Woman, DC Cinematic Universe would have been great if they were doing like Injustice, because it's just like really, really dark. But with what they're doing with Wonder Woman, I think it instills hope. Because I think it instills the idea that like we can focus on a character that most people probably wouldn't have taken seriously in a movie.
Sure.
You know, and then in turn, write like compelling like co-stars. You know, Chris Pine as Steve Trevor. You know, and create a wholly contained movie that can be intriguing, it can be interesting, and it can be character building, devoid of the established characters that already exist in the DC Cinematic Universe. And I think that's what makes Wonder Woman so cool, is because it stands on its own 2 legs. And it's just like you finish it and you're just like, wow, like she's an amazing character.
Yeah. Now the question is though, did that come too late for Justice League?
Oh, it guarantee it did, because Zack Snyder did most of it already.
Right.
And Zack Snyder's like sticking to his guns. Like, screw you guys. I'm making my dark and foreboding Superman.
I mean, to their credit, when they had the press come to her, right, they invited the people from the press that really hated it, right? And they were like, hey, watch the scene. It was when they filmed the Barry Bruce scene, right? And the people who were there came away reporting on it like, they're clearly trying to change. And like the Deborah and Zach in the interviews were like, all right, we took the feedback. And I mean, I don't, you know, how much can we trust them? How much do we know? Who knows? We'll see it on film and go from there.
It does feel like they're going for a lighter tone. I mean, Aquaman is clearly going to be like the comic relief character in the movie. Also, Bruce Wayne apparently is comic relief.
Yeah,
he's really known for his sense of humor. He really is.
Yeah, he's hilarious, man. He's
What's your superpower? I'm rich. Aren't I funny?
And that's the thing, how are they going to balance all that? And like, did they expect Wonder Woman to hit the way it was? Because like, for me personally, when I look at that poster, I mean, we all know he'll be in it and probably as a bad guy or whatever. But it's like, I miss Superman in that image. When they have the whole Justice League set up, I'm like, Batman's cool, but Batman v Superman is so mixed. Is like he enough that you're putting him on the poster that is going to bring people in to care about it? I don't know.
Well, see, and that's actually what I was going to go back to earlier, though, with the Superman. Now that he's obviously gone from Justice League, and for the future of that, he's technically dead. But we are the most enthusiastic, like, oh, he's dead. Oh, but stuff's floating.
I know, right? Man. Like, another thing with Batman v Superman, right? Because again, I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie. It's just like if they would have just cut away. We really were like, fuck, they killed Superman.
Yeah, that was it. He's
but
done.
Instead, things levitating, and then like Henry Cavill immediately was like, here I am in the gym working out for Justice League.
We weren't expecting
Why do
him
we
to
even
show
do
up
this?
at the end of Justice League.
Right. But do you think that they're gonna? Do you think with the death we're going to get the Superman we want? Like that's their out. We've killed him, so we can bring him back hopeful.
Yes.
I want
Give him
that
a bullet.
I want that to be it, but I don't think that was the plan.
awesome.
Then again, I don't think it was
Do you think
the
he's gonna
plan.
come back even more like brooding? Like, oh my god, I died.
Because he's got to come back with a mullet and the black.
Yeah,
I've seen the other side. There's nothing. Turn up the heavy metal, dead Jimmy Olsen.
he comes back as DC Metal's version. Oh!
Oh yeah, that's what we need. We just need Superman just like sitting around, just like listening to The Cure, just. But like I think that's exactly what's gonna happen, Benny. I think Superman's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, "Oh, hearken alas, I died. I have a new appreciation for life. I need to save it." Like I think that's what's gonna happen. But no. So the point about Wonder Woman, I think Justice League is too late for Wonder Woman, and I think that Aquaman will be the first time that we see a movie where DC really turns it around.
I mean, just based on like the costumes, right? Where they put up Mira and it was like, "Oh wait, she's really bright green. That's awesome. We've never seen color in this."
I never thought I would.
I feel like the first thing Joss Whedon's gonna do. He's gonna be like, "All right, turn those color filters up."
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say this, but like I'm hyped for Aquaman. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And that's
Okay.
the funny thing. That's the funny thing.
But hold on the Aquaman thing. Hold on that. I was hyped for like heavy metal biker Aquaman that's gonna come in and bust some skulls, and now it's like I look cool, but I'm comic relief Aquaman. You're like, I don't know about that.
Well,
like,
okay, but like I mean, dude, he rode the Batmobile, man.
He rode the Batmobile, but then he did like a weird woo. He had like the Howard Dean woo. I was like, ugh.
Like he's the only fun part of that trailer.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
legitimately fun-looking part of the trailer.
I
Everything
thought
else.
Flash
is very-
was.
No.
Yeah,
What
see,
is he-
Flash.
Fun.
Flash is like accidentally that way in the movie.
He's the awkward,
just
like funny
Yeah,
nerd.
but it's just like, oh, I missed the actual like sense of humor, Barry. Where it was just like, yeah, I know.
Maybe what they've actually done is the Justice League is now the cast of Big Bang Theory, and they're all just accidentally nerdy funny.
Wow.
I don't have a gun on me right now.
But no, I mean it's for years like Aquaman's like the guy that talks to fish,
Yeah.
and I feel like this movie
Yeah.
is gonna give him his due, and people are gonna be like, yeah, I mean he doesn't really talk to fish, but like he beats the hell out of people, like that's gonna be amazing. Like I think it's really gonna stand out. So I think Aquaman will be the movie that really just kind of like says, okay, like man, we're off to the races now.
Except for Justice League animated series, Aquaman. He was the best.
Oh, he was pretty
Cut your
awesome.
fucking arm off for your kid. Yeah, boy, do it with your belt. With your fucking belt. Yes.
Is Aquaman the one after Justice League?
Huh?
I think he's the first one after Justice.
Is it the one that's like early next year or something like that?
I think so.
Late, so they're taking like a whole year off, basically.
Damn.
They're like, we're
Yeah,
gonna
is
get
there
Justice League out and then figure out if this was even good.
Yeah. Is the next 5 years gonna be worth it? Oh god.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't instill me with hope. That's like saying they got the director for Transformers. Whoa!
All right, Furious
better than
7's not as
that.
bad as Transformers.
I still need to watch Fate.
I really hope they let Jeff Johns off the leash. You know what I mean? I really hope. Like, I know they brought him on and they made a big deal about it, but remember they made a big deal when he worked on the Green Lantern flick too. So it's like, all right, really, I hope they let him.
Green Lantern was not bad.
I still want.
Oh my god. Oh my god! Please don't tell me you're one of these guys.
No. I got Green Lantern tattooed here, and I refuse to talk about that movie.
Good. Okay.
And
Yeah, I
side
like that.
note,
I was like, it didn't.
I was trying to do. I wrote a book about comic book movies, the old ones, and how we got to where we are.
Yeah.
And I had to track down old movies. Do you know it's impossible to find a copy of Green Lantern and not pay out the ask for the whole thing? It's like,
Really? Yeah.
like we don't make that. It doesn't exist.
Wow. Remember when that was coming up and there was like think pieces like, is this the new Star Wars? Oh my god. Let's have him fight a giant cloud. That sounds like a good final battle.
Yeah. No, Parallax is a cloud. You know.
But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think when it comes to like, in Infinity War with the whole idea of like what comes next, I think like after Infinity War, I think it'll be DC's time to shine, to be honest.
You think so, really?
Because I think right now they're kind of getting in gear, because I really do think that when the DC Cinematic Universe came out, it was Warner Brothers hitting the panic button.
Sure.
They're like, oh my god, look at the Avengers, and like Thor and Hulk are like catching people and smashing stuff, and things are blowing up. I mean, I think they were like really excited. And then suddenly they're just like, but I mean, like we have all the legacy characters. Like
Yeah.
we're literally the reason why a lot of these superheroes are so popular, and we have Superman and Batman, so on and so forth. We should have a huge cinematic universe. And I think that what people are doing right now is they're kind of comparing Marvel to DC, which you can't help but do. Especially when it comes to these different movies. But I think that when Infinity War comes out, I think it's kind of like, okay, what happens next? And I think people's eyes are going to turn to DC. And if Wonder Woman is any indication of the future of the movies that we're going to get in the DC Cinematic Universe, I think the future is bright for Warner Brothers.
Sure. My concern is that Justice League is too far gone, and all the goodwill they had with Wonder Woman is immediately smashed again.
Right,
People
and
are
if
like,
Justice
this is
League
all this
bombs
is.
as bad as Batman v Superman, I mean, it critically it was
Exactly.
not accepted.
Yeah, exactly. You're
And
talking
if that's Justice League, that may like spell the end.
I mean,
we have to get a Spider-Man style reboot every
and
couple
that's
of years.
the thing, right? Is like, I mean, like when you tell me Joss Whedon's doing Batgirl, I'm like, fuck yes. Please tell me it's standalone, or you know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna fit that in? Because if you did like a Batgirl of Burnside kind of movie, you know what I mean? If you did like that, like fun Justice League Avengers thing with Batgirl. All right, I mean, like, can we please? Can
we get Barbara
I love
first?
Stephanie. I'm just like, can we please let Barbara have a movie?
Give Barbara Gordon the movie.
She doesn't have a movie. We're not, and again, we don't talk about Batman.
Alicia Silverstone's the best Batgirl ever.
Oh, and we were like, oh man, she's gonna be Barbara Gordon. No, she's Alfred's niece from Oh My Fucking God.
But yeah, so it's
I'm sad now.
It'll be an interesting direction. I
Well,
mean, it's
I'm a little scared about the Batgirl though, because like Wonder Woman did well, and then we immediately started hearing like all these standalone movies that aren't going to fully link in. Like I think it was Batgirl, and they announced another one like right on top of that.
Sirens is still going. Right?
Sirens is still going, yeah. And which one? Nightwing. Yeah, Nightwing's now got one, which I find weird that we're announcing all of the Bat family and still no Batman movie.
Yeah, well, Ben Affleck.
So yeah, they're like Ben Affleck's gonna fight with us, so we'll just make the whole family around him.
Yeah. I mean, that was the problem with Man of Steel. Hey, we're making a DC cinematic universe, and here's the Batman v Superman trailer. It's because I want to believe in the good of all mankind. And so when I'm Man of Steel, you go and you're like, oh man, like there was that one pod on that Kryptonian ship in the Arctic that was open, where there wasn't a body. That makes sense. They got out. They breeded with cave people. That gave you the Amazons. That's how we're gonna explain that. So we have to bring gods into this universe. Awesome. And then it was like, oh, you watch the Batman v Superman trailer, and there's fucking Jason Todd's Robin suit. And then it was the whole thing of like, wait, is Jared Leto's weird fucking Joker Jason Todd? Like, you went down this rabbit hole of like, this could be the coolest fucking universe in the history. And then you get there and it's like, nope. None of that's what we're doing. Here's
just a bad one.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been nuts if like the Joker was like, "Yep, I was Batman's sidekick once, and then like he betrayed me, so now like I'm his arch nemesis," and I would have been like, "What?"
Right? I know. Like,
that's amazing.
That's neat.
But
I mean, they could. I think I'm wondering if they're going to go with if they're going to do that now to get rid of Jared Leto with the reaction that he got.
Yeah.
That would be the easiest way to be like, no, that's not actually the Joker. That's Jason Todd pretending to be the Joker. Here's your Joker, and they can bring out this like crazy guy that has a laugh that sounds right.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! There's no one who likes Jared Leto's laugh. Come on.
I mean, it's all right. It's all right.
It was
It's not the
unsettling.
greatest thing.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's got the
Mark
best.
Hamill had the greatest joke.
What if Mark Hamill was the legit Joker?
That
Like
can't-
old man Joker?
He just pops
Like
up.
Batman's super old. Why not have old man Joker show up?
They did that like as like a tease in the CW Flash show. He was the trickster.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
That would be so great.
Oh,
You should totally do
that's
that.
fine. You're old now. I love you forever though.
I think the idea of doing like Batgirl, Nightwing, like Gotham City Sirens, I think those are smart because like remember with Batman, all we know is like Jason Todd existed at some point in time.
Yeah.
And like we know nothing else. So I mean, I think it'd be really good to kind of throw these movies in and just be like, yeah, there was Barbara Gordon, like here's what she was doing while Batman vs Superman was happening. Now that begs the question, where was she in the movie? Like is she just like, oh, Batman's got that against Superman?
Well, I mean, you can ask that question about Man of Steel. Where were all of these superheroes when Metropolis fell?
Yeah. Like what was
They were getting milk.
They were all hanging out in Gotham over the bay.
No, what they were
The bay was right there.
they were helping to design their logos for their video files.
Yeah, Lex
Lex
went.
got them together for a little powwow. Like, okay, we need to design these logos, everybody.
I just have these images of Batman on a rooftop looking over the bay at Metropolis with Batgirl and Nightwing eating sandwiches and be like, oh shit.
They look like they're
Dad
having a
over
rough
there.
time there. That sucks.
Should we go help out? Nah, I think they got it. Look at those guys flying.
Yeah, Bruce, you want to get in the Batwing? No, I'm gonna take a helicopter over there. Drive a Jeep through Ground Zero.
I'm just going to swing over. It's that close.
Yeah.
So now you brought up Infinity War.
Yes.
What do you? This is always very interesting for me because I'm a DC fanboy. I'm trying to get into I'm reading a bunch of Marvel stuff now, trying to get in, but I obviously don't have a history with it. What do you? And I'm a big Marvel movie fan. I've watched all the Marvel movies. What do you guys think is going to happen after Infinity War? Because everybody's starting to make it out of like it's going to redefine the thing. Why does Tony Stark have that hole in his chest and that leaked set photo? Blah 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 blah.
I think it'll set the stage for like a huge shift. Chris Evans, as far as I'm aware, doesn't want to play Captain America anymore. Robert Downey Jr. wants to leave Iron Man. I think Don Cheadle, War Machine, will take over Iron Man. Bucky Barnes will take over Captain America. No idea what'll happen with Spider-Man. I mean, I think it'll be a huge paradigm shift. I think some characters will die.
Yeah.
And then they'll set the stage. I mean, they could do a grandiose reboot, but honestly, my idea would be just like have the movies be origin stories and then do crossovers on Netflix. That's what I would want to see them do. Like imagine if Infinity War was like a 12-episode event on Netflix.
Wow.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be huge, drawn out. Like that's what I would want to see.
Be interesting.
You know, maybe it'll be more crossover stuff. Like Punisher will, be moved over into the movies. Because man, let me tell you something, man. John Bernthal. Like I want to see that whole thing cross over. I mean, I think that'll really be when they start to bridge the gap.
Interesting. Yeah, because when I start reading rumors about it and all this different stuff, like I'm fascinated if they're going to play it safe, which I think would be like, all right, cool. We're taking other characters and elevating them to those role, or if it's going to be because I'm talking about this image with Tony Stark with the hole in his chest, but he took out the arc reactor. So are they going back in time with Doc Strange? And if so, is that going to are they going to reset it and give you a new Tony Stark Iron Man? He's a younger version. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was actually the next question. Like, where do you guys think the entire Marvel universe is going in general? Like, do we take because if you've been following the comics and because you're DC fans, I don't know if you're following too closely.
I'm caught up on stuff now.
Okay, so Marvel Legacy was announcing we're bringing back the old heroes, and they're not. They're not doing it in any way that they said they were going to be, which means we're still going to have, not maybe. I think Sam Wilson is getting rid of the Shield finally, but we've had this entire thing. We've got Sam Wilson has been Captain America now. We have the Miss Marvel Kamala Khan thing going on. We have a different Wolverine has been brought into the universe, stuff like that. Yeah. Well, we had Old Man Logan and we got X-23, depending on which book
her
you
name
want to
is
read.
Laura. Don't use her slave name.
Wow.
Thank you, Tom Taylor. Thank you, Tom Taylor.
For the record, I think she's the only character that earned that other mantle. Like, completely earned that mantle. I don't mind the other people who took it, but she earned it through years of just being beat down.
She fought and defeated Wolverine.
Yeah. But do we think that they're going to go in that direction? Are we going to get Riri Williams as our new Iron Man post-Infinity War? Are we going to get a Sam Wilson Captain America or a Don Cheadle? I got a feeling they took John Cheadle out and he's just kind of done. Because he's been in for a while now. I mean, I don't think he's going to want to be doing
he's been in
50 years old. I'm Iron Man. Give me my cane.
I don't know. I mean, it's anybody. Because remember, also, what is her name? Scarlett Johansson said that like Infinity War is supposed to have a scene where like some 60 characters are fighting against Thanos. Like superheroes are fighting against him at one time. Now, my thought is going to be the battle where like they're just throwing planets at Thanos and like nobody can defeat him. But the next phase may also be that they're just doing origin stories on all those characters.
Yeah.
I mean, no idea. So.
I mean, what would you rather see? Would you rather see all the new characters, the new versions of the Marvel characters coming out? Because the fact that they said they are going back, and then they've released the solicitations, and they're only canceling like 4 books or something like that. Like everything else is just continuing. Says that they're doing something. Like you can't come out and say, okay, we kind of made a mistake, and we're going to change some things, and then not. And there not be some plan for that. Or they're just the most unplanned comic company in the world. I have no idea, but...
Man, I'd go for the latter.
What would you rather have? All new roster or same superheroes, new characters?
I'd rather have a new roster.
I don't know.
I'd rather see like Moon Knight, some stuff like that.
Like it would be neat to see like the same or something coming out that's new. The only thing is like after this big event, it's just like how much can you pull the audience in after that don't like actually read comics? Because I mean, you can do Superman, Batman, or like Spider-Man, all the Avengers, stuff like that. That's because like that's basically in the everybody's minds already. Like everybody knows those characters, but once you start getting into Moon Knight or anything else, it's a little harder.
And that's what's fascinating about it is like for Marvel movies right now, they're working against their own success. Yeah. Whereas like when Iron Man launched, like if you didn't read comics and if you didn't read Marvel, you didn't give a shit about Iron Man. Nobody knew who the fuck Iron Man was.
If you look into it, they actually said their biggest hurdle was convincing people he wasn't a robot.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah, that was their biggest, because everyone assumed Iron Man was a robot. No one knew there was a guy in the suit.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And so now if you move forward and it's like, all right, cool, we're going to have the new roster, you're going to have it, well, where is Iron Man? Well, where is Black Widow? Where's Vision? Like, people, you know what I mean? These characters people did come to love or know something about now. Are they ready to hit the reset button and go out there again?
I think so, because I think people are kind of ready for something new and something fresh.
I mean, I think that speaks to the success you see with Guardians and now Spider-Man Homecoming as well, where that was the thing where I went and saw it again last night, and I left with my wife who saw it for the first time, and she's like, how does that movie get it so right and be so fresh when every other origin movie's fucking it up? And I'm like, because they have the luxury of being weird, and they have to be. Yeah. This Spider-Man can't be the last 2 Spider-Men we've seen. It can't be the normal comic book origin movie. It needs to be something special, and they delivered that, and you're like, holy shit.
Yep.
Well, I mean, do you think in general Marvel's going to be changing up their entire format? Because after seeing Doctor Strange, it's getting very formulaic. I know I've been hearing that for a while, but I wasn't feeling it myself until I saw Doctor Strange. And I walked out of that like, it was a Marvel movie.
Well, they have a way of having a
love
safe
Doctor Strange.
formula, but then changing up just enough, like with Guardians and things like that, where you don't necessarily expect every movie to follow the formula.
Isn't that like the superhero kind of thing though? It's not even just like a movie. It's just like, hey, normal person, tragedy or change. Now superhero, supervillain, beat supervillain.
But the way Disney has it, it's very much like quip line here, sidekick character here. Like it's almost like they take like a template and just plug them all in every single time.
Yeah, so we have to still make it like an audience be comfortable with them every time.
And a lot of the characters have very similar traits, like Doctor Strange and Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Having a lot of similar traits. They're almost the same character, just in different situations to an extent.
They call themselves the Beard Bros in the comics.
I mean, but I mean, it makes sense going forward to have a smattering of both new characters and old ones, if not passing the torch to, like you mentioned, Bucky or Sam Wilson taking over the Captain America role. And if Chris Evans isn't involved, or if he is as a mentor kind of figure for like the first non-him as Captain America movie or whatever, and then maybe even like we're bringing in Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, the thing that can manipulate the entire universe. So why not bring in alternate universes?
Exactly. That's what I think it might really get interesting with Infinity War, is the fact of maybe it's not a reboot, maybe it's not characters. It is like we're finally going to be like, this is the 616 universe, and Spider-Gwen, even though something that
Spider-Gwen, that would be like, if she showed up, I would be like, what the hell's happening? And if they can pull in Spider-Gwen, I'd be like, where's Gwenpool? I mean, let's just get them all.
Oh, if we got a Spider-Gwen, I'd jerk off so hard. That'd be crazy. Sorry. Oh, just out of curiosity, who did see Spider-Man in here? Like, not enough of you to.
It's not enough for us to go into spoiler
We're
time.
not going to talk about that.
Thank you for coming to RTX instead of going to see the movie.
Because it's a beautiful fucking movie.
It's so
No, it is an incredible movie. Well, okay, without spoiling the movie then, obviously future of movies, in the future of Marvel movies, we have to discuss the future of Spider-Man. I mean, he's in for 5 pictures, which was 2 Spider-Mans, 2 Infinity Wars, and then Civil War.
Oh.
Gotta tweak your nipples real quick? What's up?
Lay it on me. I want to hear it.
All right. Miles Morales.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Miles Morales. Here's what I think is going to happen. All right. Marvel didn't need Spider-Man. It bolstered it, and it was cool. But like Disney basically bailed out Sony by saying, "Hey, look, let's have Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That way, people might trust you when you make another one."
When you make Venom and no one trusts you.
They've only got 5 movies. All right. So I think what's going to happen, Infinity War, Homecoming 2, whatever that, whatever it ends up being. I think what's going to happen is Peter Parker will either be ushered out, or he will die, or something like that. Who knows? But Miles Morales is going to take his place. I think Marvel and Disney got Miles Morales out of that deal. I hope that happens.
Interesting.
That would be neat.
They are.
Sure.
But
Well,
I'm talking about a live-action
animated.
film
Yeah.
for Disney.
I thought that was Disney making that movie. Because Disney has the animation rights. That's how come Ultimate
Yes.
Spider-Man came into being.
Yeah.
Not to mention that then starts giving you the mainstream a door and a window into who Miles Morales is.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the big thing.
And if your theory were to hold, then that would hold up to the whole idea of them ushering in the new era of the classic heroes while bringing in new heroes. So we could possibly get a Riri Williams. We could possibly get Amadeus Cho as the Hulk. That kind of a thing. We could get all these other character versions. And that was my theory when they first started creating them and bringing them in, was that was the whole purpose. So they would have these rotational people they could bring in for the movies eventually.
Yeah.
Why else would you replace your entire roster?
I kind of saw that as them throwing as many ideas as they could on the wall and seeing what sticks, and then whatever's the most successful stuff, that's what we'll take into Phase 4 with our movies.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, like Spider-Man 2, the continuation of that series in the Ultimate Universe where Peter Parker's like, I give you my blessing, Miles Morales, to be Spider-Man. Like, I feel like it's not a mistake why that's coming out. It's not a mistake they're doing, like Bendis and them are doing a follow-up to it. I feel like we're going to end up seeing Miles in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hope so, because I love his character.
Yeah.
Is Marvel
Hell yeah.
Studios involved in like the Venom movie at all?
No,
Not at
at all.
all.
Entirely
They're
so.
only in for the 5 movies, and Amy Pascal, as much as we all love her and her tweets, has stated that Sony is so taking Spider-Man back, and Disney is dumb for thinking that they're going to get to keep Spider-Man. As soon as the deal went through, like that was like days afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you could tell she was so bitter that she couldn't just make the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
But that gets you wondering, like, what's going to be the future of Spider-Man? Are we going to have the next this one, and then we'll have 3 more of amazing Tom Holland, and then reboot. You know, like, is that what we're gonna go with?
That's why I think if they did that, they'd be slaughtered again, and that's why I think that's a fascinating theory.
Yeah.
That Miles Morales would step up.
That's kind because here's the problem that Sony would have. Like, if Marvel were to have Miles, it would crush any interest in Peter Parker because people are like, yeah, I mean that's cool, but it's like a Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man movie. So like, I mean, Sony, it's been real and it's been good, but it ain't been real good. So like, people are just go see the. Do what? Oh yeah.
Don't get on him. He was good.
I thought he looked the role. I just his attitude as Peter Parker didn't strike me as Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Sure. I think we've struggled with that from the get-go, right? Where it's like we all look back with rose-colored, or not. Now we all look back with Venom. Actually, in the moment we were all like, "Oh, Tobey Maguire's not exactly what I read, but it's a fucking Spider-Man movie that's good."
Yeah.
And then you look back now, you're like, "Oh man, that was so." He was like 30 years old.
The dance.
Oh, we don't talk about
number
Spider-Man 3.
3. Good dance. Good dance.
No one talks about Spider-Man 3.
Angsty
Spider-Man 3 just didn't happen, right? It was 1, 2, and then we rebooted with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was fine in 1 and 2.
Right.
What?
But I mean, it creates like a litany of possibilities. Like imagine Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin from Netflix being rolled over and becoming a Spider-Man villain.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. And that's what I want to see them start playing more with that, with the universe they have on Netflix.
Yeah, that's kind of the crazy thing because there's so many things they could do. I feel like one of the biggest mistakes they made was killing Purple Man. Because imagine like Zebediah Killgrave just like, yeah, I mean Jessica Jones, whatever, like I've got bigger fish to fry. And then suddenly Thor's just like wrecking the Avengers. And people are like, why are you doing this? It's like the Purple Man just kind of comes out of the shadows like because I told him to. Like, I mean, that's the power that Purple Man has, and I feel like they wasted a great opportunity by killing him, because villains like him could really set the stage for how powerful somebody so small could really be in comparison to all the other superheroes that exist out there. So,
Well, I mean, the problem with the shows in general is that whole divide in the Marvel Cinematic Universe of who runs what. Because, like, Marvel Pictures runs the movies, and then the shows are all run by the other division, I think still, like, directly with Marvel or whatever. Yeah. And so that leads to the question of the whole Inhuman situation, where, I mean, even if you're not following the movies, you must have heard the situation where they had an Inhumans movie, then they canceled the Inhumans movie, then they had an Inhumans movie, and maybe they're getting the X-Men back. Oh, nope, that's an Inhumans movie. Now there's an Inhumans TV show, and it's got a really bad CG dog. Like, how do you feel about, like, that type of situation where Marvel, because that begs to the entire future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're trying to introduce characters to replace well-known establishments, the X-Men. And we're going to have the Inhumans. But now the Inhumans have gotten such backlash in the comics and their appearances in the show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that they're now brought down from movie status all the way down to TV show status. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like it's Marvel trying to figure out but spreading themselves too thin, trying to replicate what they did with the Avengers and Iron Man and all these characters you maybe didn't care about but now you fucking love. It is that thing of just like, how do you deal with the fact that you can't have the X-Men? How do you deal with the fact you can't have Spider-Man? You have to build these other people up and try, but they are throwing things at the wall and bouncing. But it is how much. Yeah, I always talk about it this way for me, to bring it back just for me for a second with DC, right? When I was fucking reading Wizard magazine and they're talking about this Nicolas Cage Superman movie and all, oh my god, and we cast this movie, what if it happened? I would sit there and daydream about a world that would be like that. And here we are, where there's Gotham and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow, and I can't make time for pretty much any of them. I watch.
That's the situation
I have like nine Flash, all of like the season for Flash stacked up on there. I gave up on Legends. But if you would go back and tell me that there's a Supergirl show on and I'm not watching it enraptured every week, I would have been like, you're fucking crazy. But it's the fact of there's just too much going on in all of our lives, whether it's comics, TV, movies, games, all the other interests. It's like, how far can Marvel or any of these people stretch it out to be like, yeah, the Inhumans, before it's gonna be like, I don't fucking care about.
Well, I mean, that's the big thing. When I was a kid too, is like you couldn't find anything geek-like to be a part of.
Right.
You know, I would like just be overjoyed by a Dungeons and Dragons game once a month because there was just no way to find anything going on.
Yeah.
And now, like, I gave up on the TV shows. I can't keep up with them. I just wait for people to tweet me that episode is amazing and I go watch it.
Yep.
That's basically all I can do at this point. And don't worry, you didn't miss much with Supergirl. You know, you're doing okay.
I still haven't watched the musical crossover episode.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. That was very fun.
I can't.
But now, and it's even worse now because we already have 5 on CW, and we have the Gotham show, and we have the Marvel shows, which had Ghost Rider this year and all kinds of stuff. And now we also have Black Lightning coming out, and Inhumans coming out, and I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. picked up for the next season.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely kind of pick and choose, pick your poison on what you like. I mean, Flash, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like a handful of others. I think it'll all come full circle. I think it'll go back to like 1999, Wesley Snipes, Blade. I really hope we get Blade back in Phase 4. Yeah.
But I never thought I would be happy. I would be happy to hear that because that Arrow was going to go off the air because of lower views than everything else in the CW docket, and not because I wanted Arrow to end, but because I was like, there's one less show I got to try and keep up with at this point. You know, you're going
Did
to
Arrow go off the air?
No, they said they were going
I'm
to.
not that out of the CW.
No. They said they when season 5 started, they said if they couldn't redeem Arrow, this was it. They're gonna send it off, and then they just announced season 6. Okay. So it's
everybody I know who's like the finale of Arrow. Like you have to watch the season finale of Arrow. It was like a return to form. I was like, all right, well, they've been off so long. I just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I think I enjoyed what was the season with Deathstroke.
Yeah, season 2.
Like that was the one I liked, and then
and that's the problem. I mean, you know, I think even don't get me wrong, I still love Flash, but like even with Flash, where season 1 of the Flash was amazing. Oh my fucking god, full tilt, amazing, great. And how awesome would it have been if they would said, we're doing 1 season of the Flash. Here's a whole bunch more money, put it in there, fan racks, we take a year off, come back with another. Here's the story. Because what happens with these serialized shows is every season. We get I thought it was a phone. Hey, baby.
That'd be a cool
little bit more off, you know, of like, well, shit, what do we do? And it's like, well, here's 4 more speedsters. I'm like, this all happened too quick.
That's why this last season I just kind of gave up on it. I'm like, it's just another speedster. And the answer, in the comics, it's okay. When he gets a speedster once a year, but it's like a drawn-out story, fine. You know, I enjoy that. And if the answer is always, run faster, Barry. Well, I don't get to read it that often, so it's cool.
Barry, run.
But every week, it's, run, Barry, run faster, Barry. And it's every week, every week.
Oh, man. People really liked Harrison Wells. Fuck it. Keep killing him and bringing him back from Infinite Earths. Go get him. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
So literally page all the multiverse for Harrison Wells. I was like, all right.
Well, but see, for me, it's not like that, though, because you'll get a kick out of this. I didn't really start getting it. I was a Marvel kid. Like, I was raised on Marvel.
Sure.
And I didn't really start getting into DC until the New 52, and really when I first met Benny. But even then, it was still kind of like, all right, you know, read stories here and there. DC Rebirth is what drew me into DC Comics. But, like, going and watching, like, season 1 of The Flash, I was like, dude, this is amazing. Like, who's this Reverse Flash guy? This, like, yellow Flash. This dude's awesome. You know, and it was such a cool thing. But for me, it really hasn't gotten old yet. I mean, it does to a degree, you know, with the idea of, like, every villain he fights is just, like, faster than the last guy. But it hasn't really worn on me to the point that it's gotten old. I really watch it more for, like, the whole, like for Iris West, man. Candace Patton. Like, but I watch it for the character interactions. I watch it for, you know, the story itself. The whole idea of like the speedsters always being the villains doesn't really wear on me too bad.
Sure, I mean, I'm not against it. I just think season 1 was so great in terms of like what a great, unique. Here we are. How is this going to work out? And then just keep.
Well, it was actually a surprise. Yeah. When there was another speedster, you were like, we already went there. Holy crap!
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then the next season, they were like, and here's another speedster, and you're like, okay.
But we already.
And then there were 3 were like, it's one with a suit, and you're like, oh, okay. Neat. Okay, so since we're coming to the end of the panel time over here, I do want to ask the big question, the big one that I'm sure everyone over here has been heard from everyone, and everyone in the room has heard.
Oh boy. Okay.
At the end of Infinity War, the comic book bubble is done, and that's the end of it. Movies are over, shows are over. No one's going to be interested. That's the talk of the town. I like the look you gave me, Patrick.
You think it's gonna fucking like that's it?
That's the bubble is supposedly going to burst.
Once Infinity War 2 is done.
Yeah,
you're talking like just people in general won't go to see.
Supposedly the industry insiders are concerned that the movies will just tank at that point.
That is too much money that will not be coming into the production kind of thing. Like, nah, they have to keep it going.
Oh, even
because we're so used to.
Do you think the interest will be
saturation of shit, like with shows, movies, everything that we're getting? Yeah.
Well,
but it'll slow down. Hopefully, I kind of hope it slows down. But I don't want it to go away.
Greg's point about DC's time to shine, I think, is really important.
That's
there. It really depends on what DC does.
Yeah.
If DC is really successful with, was that your point? Did I get it wrong?
He said that.
Sorry, Rob.
You're rude.
Man,
Greg, you're amazing with your points. Yeah.
Let me tell you, when I was making Goku vs Superman,
well, if DC can make it work, then the hype will still keep going. If not, I mean, Marvel Studios, isn't that Marvel's biggest cash cow right now?
Well, I think it's like Disney's now.
Yeah, like they can't stop.
Well,
not
but
gonna stop.
they don't have to stop. I mean, a successful comic book movie, it doesn't have to be like $1 billion blockbuster. But
what's going to happen, I think, is that there's going to be a culling. I don't think it's going to be a bubble burst. I think all of us who care about comic book movies to the point of like reading the sites every day and listening to podcasts about them, we watch it so closely and we're so in it that when Inhumans falls off and this falls off and the fucking Shazam movie never fucking happens, 'cause that's not going to happen.
It's got The Rock!
And I know. And if they would have cast Rock as a whole other argument.
But he looks like Black Adam. He looks like him.
Oh, don't be a racist, all right? In this day and age, anyone can play anything, all right? When all those start falling off, though, and these projects do get canceled, that's what we're all going to say is, oh, my God, it's blah, blah, blah. And then I don't think that when Infinity War ends and new movies start coming out, audiences are necessarily going to be like, well, I'm over it. I think it might be if it is, hey, Infinity War ended. Here's all these new heroes. It might be, I'm not interested in that. Like, I keep saying that with every time. I'm like, man, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, now Black Panther. I'm like, these are the canary in the coal mine. Can these movies continue with if you really don't care about these characters? And I went into Doctor Strange for our review, and I left and I was like, what a fun fucking movie that was, because I knew nothing about Doctor Strange. You know what I mean? I didn't realize he was an asshole and kind of funny. I always just thought he was an old guy in a mansion that helped Spider-Man out every so often. You know what I mean? It's like Black Panther. All I know is he's got daddy issues and he doesn't get hurt by motorcycles. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I guess I'll go see this. But it's like, when you get to, what if it is Sam Wilson? What if it is, all these, not B-tier characters, but co-stars who are now trying to do it, and then people are like, I don't want to see that. That would be it. But yeah, they're going to go on forever, because if there's anything Hollywood has nothing of, it's new ideas. So this works. They will continue to do it as long as they can.
I mean, the whole multiverse idea has now been carried over to everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, Transformers is still going with their whole thing that bombed, so now it's the finale. But Harry Potter came back, and now there's the Dark Universe that's
Who's
bombing.
excited about Bride of Frankenstein?
Yeah! Come on, no?
Versus Tom Cruise the Mummy.
Yeah!
What the fuck? What?
And Kong.
Okay, here's the craziest thing.
Kong's in there.
No, Kong's in the monster universe. He's with Godzilla, right?
Yeah, they're doing a
That's
Godzilla.
a different-
It's not
That's
the-
another one.
I thought that was the same thing as the
No,
Mummy
it's different.
universe.
That'd be too
different
cool.
one.
So which one's going to be better? Just side note.
The Dark Universe is never going to fucking happen either.
No.
That was another thing when they announced it. I'm like, don't do that. And then the Mummy comes out and crash and burn. I'm like, that's why you don't do that.
That's why you don't announce, like, here's our entire cast. We haven't done one movie, but here's our whole universe.
Dude, here's also like how disappointed I was in the Mummy trailer. I started watching that trailer and I was like, "Oh man, it's Uncharted!" And like this
Oh,
is
shit.
I was like, "Dude, we're finally getting an Uncharted movie." And it's like the Mummy, and I'm like, "Well, that sucks."
For me, the Mummy trailer was just kind of confusing because I was like, why do I find the Mummy attractive? This isn't right.
Well, she's not a bad-looking mummy. Bad looking.
So the eye does
She's a
split
MILF.
thing. I don't know about that.
But yeah, I mean, back to Infinity War. I think Infinity War is going to be the Lord of the Rings of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like Lord of the Rings, all 3 movies finished, and then it's like, well, where do you go from here? Well,
The Hobbit.
you get the Hobbit. It's like, well, dude, this is everybody's going to look at what comes after, and they're going to say, well, it's not as good as Infinity War. It's not going to be as good as what came before, because Infinity War is going to be so huge and so grandiose and so massive that I feel like it's going to be almost impossible to follow it up.
But do you think that then it would let Marvel continue on with this trend of we're going to do weird fucking movies now? Where, because like Spider-Man Homecoming is different. Thor Ragnarok, that looks... I did not give a shit about the first 2 Thors. I went and watched them, and that's when I left, and I was like, no, it was like a Marvel movie. It was fine. It was fun. I enjoy it, but I never think about it. Whereas, like, it's a buddy cop movie with the Hulk and Thor. I'm like, are you kidding me? 80s influence? Yes, I'm in. Like, if they do that where it's like they still have those grandiose crossovers, but they finally get the memo that not every universe or every solo movie needs to be the fate of the world is in the balance, because that doesn't make any sense. That'd be fine with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they do that, Doctor Strange would be where it comes from, because there's villains from Doctor Strange's stories that like just dwarf Thanos in power. I mean, there's Dormammu, Nightmare, so on and so forth, just alternate realities and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's all different number of things that they could pull off. Not to mention the question still has to be asked in terms of like the Marvel cosmology. What characters? I mean, obviously Galactus, things like that, but cosmic entities we haven't seen yet. I mean, there are a lot of things that they could do, but just from my perspective, until I see it, the sheer grandiosity of Infinity War seems like it'll be like their swan song, and then anything that comes after it'll be like, yeah, it's good, but it's not that.
I just hope it's. I hope it's to the point because when it first started, right? And I was like, and I'm talking about like comic book movies really first started, and it was like, oh man, like they're gonna do the Superman movie after that, and it's like after Nolan, right? And it's like, well, they have to make it very clear to everyone because audiences are mainstream audiences get confused by how complicated comics are. Marvel's done a great job of 23 movies or whatever, where it's like, hey, this is all complicated shit, and we're telling you how it works, and so it's so out there now that in Guardians 2, here's Stan Lee with the Watchers. You know what I mean? And nobody's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" Like, what?
No
Like,
explanation. It just happens.
So if they
It's just
get
there.
to Infinity War and they're like, "All right, let's get weird," and they shatter it, you know what I mean? There are multiverses, and now they are putting on the posters like, you know, what universe it is in some weird font, you know, like, I don't even know, like issue thing. Something cool though that you like, hey. Like my mom who goes see these movies, she understands that this isn't happening in 616. That'd be weird and awesome, cool.
But it's
I was gonna say, there's rumors that DC's trying to initiate. Like they had the first female superhero centric movie, and now they're trying to be the first ones to do the multiverse with Red Sun. Rumors.
yeah, I
So
heard-
I've heard
yeah.
no confirmation at all. But
I mean, but if that's the case, then I mean, I would say for real that after Justice League, probably back off all the cinematic stuff, and that's when you'll see it fall away. And you'll get Wonder Woman 2, and you'll understand that's happening in that universe or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, go ahead and make Red Sun, and get a new Batman, because we all know Ben won't do it, and go do Long Halloween or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, go out and make these awesome things that just don't need to worry about being on top of each other.
maybe that is it. I mean, maybe the idea is like maybe they just throw away the whole idea of the multiverse, like Marvel does. You know, I mean, they introduced the multiverse in Doctor Strange, but like, we're never going to use it. And maybe it's the movie equivalent of original graphic novels, just
Yep.
one-shot stories that don't fit into a continuity anywhere. They're just out there, and
Yeah.
people just go and see them.
The X-Men movies are kind of like that. Some of them are.
Yeah.
Like Logan, how does that fit into the timeline?
I
Doesn't
have no
really
idea
matter.
where any of them fit anymore.
Like it doesn't really matter when you watch.
There's like 4 timelines going on in the Fox universe right now.
Where does Deadpool fit? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't.
In the Deadpool universe, there's no one at the X Mansion.
Yeah. So they could just do that, and that would probably work fine.
I mean, this is always my argument for comics in general, where I think that comics would find way more success if they would back off of, hey, we're doing monthly things, and they did it more like how DC does it with like the Earth 1 books for hit or miss. But it's like, hey, I'm a talented writer, I'm going to pair up with this talented artist, and I'm going to tell a story that is 9 issues, 12 issues, whatever the hell I want it to be, but not even be issues. It's going to be this, it's going to be given to you, you're going to get it, and if it is Max Landis and it's in the Landis verse, that's explained in the beginning, and you know that, and then you're off to the races. And you can tell stories in those different universes, but some of the worst comics are these fucking month by month. We're trying to just fill things before the next giant event, and then there is the crossover. And I'm enjoying Spider-Gwen. I really love Spider-Gwen, right? But I'm catching up on a plane, and then I'm just there's a crossover happening, and nope, I didn't buy Silk or Spider-Woman, so I don't know what the fuck happens when I get back. I'm like, well, what the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, there's a really good example of that. They launched a comic book line called Mighty Avengers in 2008, and the first like 20 issues of that story is just tie-ins to crossovers. So it's like if you weren't reading the crossovers, you had no idea what was going on. But yeah, it's never to think about that. It'll be kind of wild. I mean, I like the idea of just standalone movies for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'd like to see them go. That's what I liked the most about Wonder Woman. Everything with Marvel and everything with DC recently has been like, well, here's us hyping this, and here's a folder with images, and here's us hinting at this thing, and here's Doctor Strange sitting with Thor and filling up his beer keg, and like, it's cool and fun, but I'm tired of trying to figure out where it all fits. And I liked going into Wonder Woman and I just enjoyed a Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
The only tie-in was her writing a letter to Bruce. You know, it would have been cool maybe if he read it, but it didn't need it. We're fine. You're to see Ben Affleck sitting back in his chair. Huh. All right. Thank you.
Barry comes back through time.
Yeah. He's like, oh!
I don't know why I only used pronouns. The name I was talking about not to trust is...
So, yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much closes out our discussion overall. Comic book movies are doomed. Batman v Superman is horrendous.
Hey!
We got Greg to admit to that.
No, you didn't.
I heard it.
I want that tweeted out right now.
No, don't do that.
Everybody let him know.
Does anyone have any final thoughts?
I like comic book movies.
Comic movies.
Comic movies are amazing.
I think it'll be a long time before they go the way of the Western, though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we got plenty of comic book movies that we'll be seeing for a long time that we'll have plenty of fun with.
Whatever happened to the Western?
Tombstone perfected it, and they never went back.
Yes.
I thought it was Blazing Saddles, but hey, to each his own.
Blazing Saddles broke it.
Oh,
That's
right.
what happened.
My bad. All right. What's that?
Wow. West.
Yes, Wild Wild West. That was the peak of perfection. We should all do the Wild Wild West rap off the panel stage.
I don't even know the
20 outlaw trying to draw. Up to sundown, rolling around, see where the bad guys ought to be found to make them lay down. Come on, nobody's gonna join.
How do you know it?
It's just a random
Like a
joke.
Wild Wild West.
I never thought that would go anywhere.
Yeah.
Cisco, we're going straight to the Wild Wild West. We're going straight to the Wild Wild West.
I really don't even want to know why you have that memorized. How many karaoke nights did you shine with that?
I'm a big fan of Cisco.
All right, well, thank you everyone for joining me on the panel here. Thank you, Greg, for your singing renditions at the end. Thank you, Rob, Patrick, Ben, and that's it. I guess we're done.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Thank you, guys.